So we're in the last couple weeks of 2024. In a recent video, I ranked my favorite horror movies of the year, and I mentioned there were quite a few that I still hadn't seen. Well, I've rectified that a bit and caught up on a few movies that I feel I just needed to see before the year ended. So join me for another episode of Ringside Review. Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer. So this episode is a bit different. This is going to be a series of smaller scale reviews. I just wanted to include several different things in this one video because there's just not enough time left in the year to cover them all. But that doesn't mean I have nothing else planned to finish the year out. I'll be doing a part 2 of the best horror movie from each decade video that I did just a few days ago. We'll be going from the 1960s to the 1920s in that one. I'm looking forward to those videos, and I hope you are too. But first, we have to take care of business here today. That being said, I have 5 movies to cover today. It is bell time though, so grab your popcorn and make your way to your seat. Let's head down to the ring. Alright, first up on this list, I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way. It's Terrifier 3. Yes, this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I finally got a chance to check it out. I actually bought the collector's edition, the 4K version of the film, and it absolutely looks beautiful. So I'm very glad that I was able to pick that up. But what did I think about the movie? Well, it was basically what I expected. It was a lot of gore, a lot of very, very brutal kills, a lot of violence, and some kind of just genuinely funny, whether it was intentional or not, funny moments. And that's exactly what I was looking for. That's why I like the Terrifier movies. Now, to be fair, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first movie. I thought that the practical effects and the gore and everything, that was phenomenal, and that's where these movies really shine, even now. But the second one was a huge step up in the story department and the acting department and just the overall production quality department. And I think that continued on with this one. You could tell there was a bigger budget. You could tell that there was more care put into the story, and they really just wanted to make it feel more like an actual movie that makes sense as a story. And I appreciate that. But regardless of that, it was still a gore fest, and that's exactly what I want from Art the Clown. I thought that David Howard Thornton's performance was still very, very good in this movie. I think he did some different things. I thought he was acting a little bit differently, and he was maybe experimenting with a few things, and I think that they worked out really well with that. And I'm glad that he was able to do that and kind of, evolve this character in some little ways, add some different little nuances and things like that. So I really do like that aspect of it. Now, was this movie just head and shoulders more violent or more gory than the first two films? No. Was it so much better than the first two? No. In fact, I would say that this one is probably on level par with the second one for me. I enjoy that I can watch the second one on Halloween and watch the third one on Christmas. That's fun. I'm always looking for more movies to add to the different holiday rotations, so I love that about it. But overall, this was just a really fun time for me. This is exactly what I was hoping it would be, and because of that, I absolutely loved it. By the way, don't forget to body slam that subscribe button so you never miss any of the heart-pounding, chill-inducing 5-star matches we have here at WWH. We're not just wrestling with horror. We're delivering it to your screen every week. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Speak No Evil. Yeah, I was finally able to check out this movie that came out earlier this year. First and foremost, James McAvoy is a fantastic actor who does not get talked about enough. Between this movie and Split, he's phenomenal. And I think that he just loses himself in these characters, and he puts everything he has into them. And I really love that about what he brings to a film. That being said, this movie was it was decent. I didn't think it was anything spectacular. It probably wouldn't have made my top 5 of the year list. But I did have a decent time with the film. And after I watched this one, I went back and rewatched the original version from 2022 which was also a first time watch for me. And maybe I should have watched that version first, but I didn't. So, whatever, sue me. But here's what I'm going to say about those two movies. They're basically the same thing. I mean, the first two acts of these films are basically shot for shot the same exact thing. The story beats, the characters, the motivations of them, it's all identical. And, fine, when you get a foreign film that's being remade in America, sometimes that happens. I get it, but this was just a 2-year-old movie where they speak English. It's not even in a foreign language. So, yeah, you know what? It is what it is. Like I said, it's a decent film. Both of them I thought were just decent films. Now, here's where they're different. That third act. And I'm going to go ahead and just say it. Spoilers. If you haven't seen these and don't want it spoiled, skip this part. No big deal. But in the third act of the original film, it is one of the most shocking and depraved endings I've ever seen. It doesn't quite hit, missed levels of heartbreaking, but damn, it is close. In the original, you have the couple and their daughter. They're trying to get away. They finally realize what's going on with this couple that they're staying with, that they're killing people, and they kidnap kids and raise them as their own and use them to bring other people in to kill them as well. So they try to get away, but they get caught. And so what does this insane couple do? They cut the daughter's tongue out and they strip our protagonists down naked, throw them down in a quarry, and freaking stone them to death. Like I said, it's absolutely, it's just depraved. I don't know how else to describe it. Now, I love endings like this, not because I like seeing people and families just destroyed and murdered like that, but I like when a movie has the guts to go for something like this, that it's not necessarily a happy ending, because happy endings don't always exist in life. So I appreciate when a film isn't afraid to use that message and to go that direction. So I appreciate that. Now, in the American remake, they kind of do the complete opposite of that. The couple finds out what the bad guys, quote unquote, are doing, and essentially they have just, a stereotypical horror movie fight in the third act, and they overcome their adversaries and they get away and save their daughter, and they save the child that the other couple had already kidnapped. That's a much safer ending. And had the other film not existed, okay, that's just the ending of the story. That's fine. But it was definitely done that way. One, just to be different. So I guess I can be okay with it in that way. But it was done in another way to make it more palatable for U.S. audiences and mainstream audiences in general. Because most people who aren't sickos like some of us don't want to see the depraved version of this film. So, what did I think overall? Well, if I had to choose, I would say I like the first 2/3 of the American version better, just for James McAvoy's acting. But the third act, I prefer the original from 2022. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this, because I feel like everybody who has seen both of these films probably has an opinion, and I would like to hear it. Up next, we have In a Violent Nature. Yep, this is another one that I missed out from this year. Again, it was a decent movie. I thought it was pretty good, and not going to make my top 5 of the year. So I'm glad that, I wasn't really missing out on anything super, super good throughout the year. But as somebody who loves slasher movies, as somebody who can appreciate when a film takes its time and really is getting a message across and things like that, I absolutely loved what they were going for in this film. Yeah, I understand the gripes with it. It's a lot of just, the killer walking around and what he's doing to get to the next victim. I get that, but that's just the reality of what would actually be happening in a situation like this. And I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem with it. And I thought that the kills were pretty good. They're not anything super unique or super spectacular, but overall, they're pretty decent kills, and I thought the gore was pretty decent as well. I honestly don't have a ton else to say about this film. I mean, it's a movie that some people are going to really enjoy, and it's a movie that some people are going to really hate. It's either really boring or really interesting to you, and there's really no in between to that. I find it interesting, and I probably will watch it on a few more occasions just to kind of solidify my thoughts on it, but that's just how I feel about it. All right, our last film on this list is Krampus. Yep, I talked about this in the video I did where I was ranking my favorite Christmas horror movies, and I had said that I had never seen this film. I finally got a chance to check it out with my brother just the other day. I had a lot of fun with it. It's goofy, it's silly, but sometimes that's what I want out of a horror movie. I do like horror comedy, and that's what this was going for. I like a lot of the actors in it. Toni Collette's in it, Adam Scott's in it, David Koechner's in it. Everybody's doing a great job, and they're all just looking like they're having a blast making this movie. So I always enjoy when I can see that come across on the screen as well. Now, I do like the effects that they used in this movie. Now, there was some CGI in there that was kind of iffy, but overall, there was some nice practical effects as well. And I like that there's not really a ton of resolution in this movie. It's not a happy ending. They all get taken to Krampus's workshop where they're doomed to live out in this purgatory-like existence inside of a snow globe. It's a very depressing way to end a film, but again, I don't mind when films go for that direction. I enjoy it quite a bit, actually. Now, me and my brother had a discussion. He thinks that they're essentially, for all intents and purposes, dead. And for me, I'm saying that I don't consider them dead at all. I consider them just captured. And I can see both sides of this argument. I just think it packs more of a punch if you say that they're not captured and that they're forced to live out this entire existence over and over again. So that's how I feel about that. But overall, again, I thought it was a really good movie, and I've actually just learned that there is a director's cut of this movie that is supposedly better. So maybe I'll check that out soon, and if my thoughts are super different on it, then maybe I'll come back and do something else. But yeah, overall, really fun movie. I had a great time with it, and it was, again, basically just what I was looking for in this film. Other than that, I honestly just don't have anything else to say about it. But there you have it. That's going to do it for this episode of Ringside Review. Let me know down in the comments what you think about each of these movies if you've seen them. I'm glad I was able to find the time to watch all of these movies and gather my thoughts on them. Thank you for joining me today, and keep an eye out for the last couple videos of the year that are coming soon. If you're interested in Redcon One products, I have a discount code that you can use to save 20% off of your entire order. Be sure to check that out. You can also find all of my merchandise available at prowrestlingtees.com/Andrew Dreamer or right under this video here on the channel. Also, head over to Patreon and consider joining the WWH Patreon and becoming a member over there, or if you would like, you can become a member right here on YouTube. All of the links are in the description below. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of the action here at WWH. Now that we've reviewed some movies, what are the best movies from each decade? Luckily, you can find out by watching the video that is appearing on your screen now. And remember, in the squared circle of horror, there are no countouts for nightmares. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.